To the stage, the managing partner of DWF Labs, Andrei Grachev.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I hope you had a great lunch half a year ago, and now we can discuss very interesting things and very important things in the current market stage. I would say it's about liquidity wars, because the market, every year, right, and every half a year on some conferences we are discussing this thing, right? How market is going to be developed, what is liquidity concentration, how it works, what is the reasons behind some moves and some changes, right? And this is a very, very important story, and as a very, very important story in our life and in our history and in financial markets, we should explore it from the early days, right? Because every story that is happening now is based on things that happened like years ago, in the past, right? And what about this presentation? What about this talk today, right? This talk is aimed to share how we try to predict the future, how we try to identify important niches and the niches that have some opportunities to grow, the niches that will highly likely capture most of money flows, and yeah. When I say we, I mean that's our company, DWF Labs, and yeah, everything that I share is how we work, basically. Let's take a look at the very, very early stage. I would explain it in this Star Wars manner, and yeah, let's imagine it was like old empire, like early days, right? At that time, we didn't have, the market didn't have that many tokens that we have now, right? In general, if we skip like small of them that's already died once, right? We had just 5 very important ones, right? It was Bitcoin, which was created by the great Satoshi Nakamoto, right? And which is a digital gold. It was a very common internet computer, right? Internet, like decentralized computer, decentralized operational system. If it was some memes for fun, it's Doji. It was an exchange token and crypto dollar. Why that 5? Because basically in the crypto space, right, through the all years, there are not that many areas that have long-term sustainability. The first area is its value, store of value. Second is transfers and payments. Third is investment and trading. And then some gambling, and everything which is related to finance. That's it. The rest is like fantasies and R&D. And in 2017, when the whole market spiked up, and a lot of people that believed in each other, that believed in the industry, right? They didn't came to the crypto industry for money in 2010, right? They came for the technology. And one day, they became very rich. And that's how ICO hype appeared. A lot of people that didn't have a strong financial experience, or had, but didn't have, of course, crypto industry experience because it's just created, right, started to be investors. And as a very industry, as a very niche that has cheap money, a low quality due diligence, a lot of companies, a lot of people, different quality of products, right, came to the market, and it was ICO hype. And this hype pushed the industry to that environment when almost everyone could just raise money easily without spending like any effort. Just put your blockchain wallet on the website, shill it, and then you have some cash, right? But the party cannot be endless if there is no underlying values and long-term thing, right? And this is what the original market in the old days has been about, right? It was, as I said, these market niches, and the only thing that every project must have, it was trustless and permissionless. I would go and say, hey, I would like to tokenize bananas. I would like to tokenize some, I don't know, scam. I would like to tokenize taxi, delivery, whatever tokenize, right? If I said tokenize, I could raise money. But yeah, 2018 was like a very, very cold rain. A lot of people realized that they lost money. They realized that there is no tokenized bananas to be delivered. There is kind of no, I know, other shady things even need a blockchain, right? And it was a depression, right? And I remember also 2018, right? And most of people in normal world said, look, this crypto is like a purely scam, right? It's everything got pumped. It's like Ponzi, then collapsed. Everyone lost money, and what are you talking about, right? It's all scam. But this collapse, as every collapse, it made sense because it was like at the beginning of the learning curve. A lot of people realized that, okay, if we're still here, if we still have capability to build, and probably we need to try to build because the whole ICO hype, without ICO hype, basically, I'm afraid that we would not have this market that we have today. Because the hype showed that this market can be liquid, this market can grow, this market can have users, that market can have investors, right? And it was very helpful. It was very helpful for some kind of, some hope. And the silver light happened. Silver light happened right after the collapse, when smart people, but more smarter than the previous people who lost everything, realized that, yes, we can build, and they start building. And as in the very, very obvious stories in our history, right, strong men created great times. We could see these projects that I listed here, right? For example, that Curve, Uniswap, Aave, Tron. I think everyone knows it here, and at least like everyone who has USDT, like use Tron like at least once, right? Same for DEXs and same for other things. Because these projects have been built at times when they couldn't raise money, they couldn't, scam anyone, right? They built it from technology for the idea that crypto space will grow. And this growth should have the following metrics. It should be trustworthy. When we say trustworthy, that you could verify things. You could rely on on-chain data. You can leverage real benefits of crypto utility. You don't need to have some scams or some, centralized stuff, right, as a product. You can have everything on-chain. And this project proved it. And as you could see, market get more traction. And the most common thing that was tokenized, it's lending and borrowing industry. It's basically loans and collaterals, because it is very common in normal world and tokenized and shifted to the crypto space. And of course, like every good time create like weak man, right? And I think, and I hope you guys also enjoyed this rally in 2021, when you could buy like whatever shit you want, and this pumped like 100x, and you can make money from this. But the reason, the core reason behind this growth was very similar to what happened in 2017. Because of the COVID situation, when a lot of people got blocked at homes, and because of helicopter money, especially in the US and in some other countries, to kind of finance living of these people, it created a massive flow, like a waterfall of liquidity to all the niches where people could feel that they can make money fast. And crypto is like, make money fast, you can gamble, you can even be a builder, you can try stuff, right? And everything started skyrocketing. I remember when we started our kind of venture business in 2021, we invested in some projects. It was like, 5% unlock at TGE, and we could cover all our investment just by selling this 5%. It was like pumped like hardly like every single token. But of course, it cannot be true. It is unrealistic because this market was super inefficient. And of course, many companies got rich from this, right? And many people lost kind of everything. But when market is very rich, we can easily buy and sell stuff, when you can feel that you are a genius investor, when you could feel that you are, I don't know, the best in the world, what happened? Basically happened that you replaced trustworthy to user-friendly. You don't need to check anything, right? Because why I need to check stuff? I buy stuff, it goes up, right? You prefer to kind of take things that you can understand, that are easy to work with. And that's why, at that time, and bad times, I would call it bad times because, and this hype situations, usually, most of people lose money. Someone cash out, but in the end, in the spike, like most of people would lose. Trustworthy was replaced to user-friendly. But market niches, how you can make money sustainably, didn't change it, right? It was the funds, it was some stables, it was exchanges, it was blockchains. Nothing changed. It was very similar to the early days. It changed a little bit in terms of amount of them, but not that critically. And logical way, if you remember the story of 2017, repeated just 5 years. 2022 happened, right? It started with Terra Luna crisis, and then people started thinking, well, maybe if we have some stable coin which is backed by some shitcoin and it generates 20% a year, it couldn't be true, right? Now it looks like obvious, but at that time, I know some guys who brought like hundreds of millions US dollars to farm this 20% because they thought, look, it's UST, it's very big. Nobody would let it die, but someone, this nobody or somebody, or don't let them die, or they will stay. It's not a fundamental stuff, it's just our expectation, which can be very, very different to reality. Then, after that, another hit to transparency, it's FTX crash. And people started thinking, okay, that's how we can trust the industry, right? It's like it's scam again, right? And if you remember that times, most of articles, most of media, major media complained about the crypto industry that is full of scams. It is Ponzi and cetera, right? And repeat, 2018, right? It's very similar. Scale was bigger, of course, but the narrative and the situation the same, right? People stopped thinking about risk management and trustworthy. People start following just short-term trends and pumps, and the result is like this. It's not bad to make money. It's good to make money, but if you go all in, it's always going to end up like this. And what happened next? You could see people realized that, okay, maybe it's better that we don't have really user-friendly stuff, but we have kind of reliable stuff that we can check, that we can trust. And if you remember, that time, reserves, transparency reserves appeared on CoinMarketCap. Exchanges started sharing their reserves, their obligations, their debt, etc., right? A lot of DeFi things started happening, right? And even in our business, I remember that some projects that we worked with asked us to move coins on chain just to make sure that we have them. And yeah, we had to do this, and we did it. The market started asking questions. And this is next stage of the learning curve. And 2023 until today, I would say that's another cycle. We cannot say that from 2023 to 2024 or to 2025. No. The cycle started in the end of 2022 after the crash and started developing in 2023. And now we have everything that we all dreamed for in the last years, from the early beginning. We have institutions in the market, please, there are institutions. You want to have regulation? Sure, there is a Genius Act. There is a multiple frameworks how to work with crypto in multiple jurisdictions. You want to have exchanges, centralized exchanges are waiting for you. It's easy to onboard. You can use fiat, whatever, right? You want to trade on decentralized markets, easy. You can go and trade. Tokenized assets are here. Yield-bearing products are here. Everything seems good, and everything seems to be developed. But the very important thing that we need to keep in mind that must-have things and fundamentals didn't really change again. The only one thing kind of had been added is compliance, because institutions, they need compliance. Institutions need to follow this. And if you compare today with 2017, when the whole market was against banks and etc., now it's common for everyone to pass KYC, to pass KYB, to show papers, to show IDs, to show passports and whatever, and we take it normally. Why not, right? And in global, market niches didn't change it, must have things a little bit improved. And this is how projects can build and navigate in this industry, right? Just take a look. Not many changes. It's almost, but the experience and knowledge of the whole space is much larger. That's why we are making step to the most important thing of this story is the actual liquidity world, right? Most of these, influencers like analytics, some other people, they rely on kind of outdated metrics. How usually people measure tokens or whatever, right? They say all-time high, who invested, what is technology, who are the partners, how much they raised, how much user base it had, right? How much, how many advisors a project had, but this is nothing works now and will not work anymore. You can take a look at most of any projects in this year that raised tens of millions, hundreds of millions, whatever amount, had some technology, super ZK proof and whatever. Take a look at opening price, take a look at the price today, everything lost 95%. Because it just makes no sense. We are not in 2020 or 2021 or 2017 when you say, hey, I built a new blockchain and people buy. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Market is developing, and that people who are here, they are much stronger, they're much smarter, and the competition is much harder. And people who invest, even retail traders, professional traders, they can evaluate this stuff and don't buy these promises. Of course, you can speculate with this, you can make short-term money, you can short some stuff, you can some stuff, but in general, people don't buy it, right? And liquidity is being concentrated around those companies, those tokens that have some business operations, that have some real value, and you could see that most of them, take a look at CoinMarketCap. It's still Bitcoin, it's still ETH, it's still Solana, it's BNB, it's Tether, and a few other tokens, right, that capture 85% of the whole market liquidity. Why? Because market knows that they will survive. Very limited. What to say? It is not the end. The end is just beginning. We should see the rise of that fundamentals that we explained, of that niches that we mentioned now. And in a few years, when we will see all this all-time high, when we see that something is a new future, something is to the moon, we should expect that this time, that for market correction, and we should expect this correction. But global trend is uptrend, and if globally take a look at this, we should stay with top ones, we should gamble and invest and venture with promising ones that have relevant business models, and pray that market will be good. Thank you.